sweet, kind girl named Leaf. She loved me, hadn't she? I never knew. She rode on her bicycle with me in her basket. If I had ears, I would have perked them up at the sound of her voice. I guess we'll stop here. I felt myself being lifted up and sat down. I opened my eyes and looked up at her as she jumped onto her bike. I whined as she rode off. My voice grew louder. She surely could hear me now, couldn't she? I made my voice as loud as I could as I kept on calling, but she never came back. Why had she done this? She had cared about me. She had loved me. Tired out from calling to her, I rested my head on my paws. She doesn't care. Those words echoed throughout my head as I fell asleep. I opened my eyes, adjusting them to the light. She abandoned me. She will never love me again. The reality of it all hit me like a flurry of arrows. Why me? I ask myself that now. Why me? Why would she do this to me? Something new began to harbor in my heart. Hate. I knew what it was to hate. I'd never done it before. I loved everything, everyone. And most of all, I loved Leaf. But now? Now I hate her. She abandoned me, left me here with no love. I feel so cold. So cold. Shaking with cold, I walked to the corner of the cave she left me in and slept until the day was done. But the cold still gnawed at me. I woke up feeling completely numb. Like I care now. Actually, I like it. The hate only makes it colder, so I let them both fuel each other. I stood up and walked over to the entrance of the cave. Nothing could make the scars she left go away. Nothing. That is what I told myself when she left me here. Abandoned. I'm destined to go on hurting until I make things right. How could I make things right, I asked myself. How? The solution came to me in an instant. Revenge. The word hissed in my ears like a snake. Revenge. The word made me smile and chuckle to myself. Revenge. The thing I must obtain. Now I wake up and I see her. Leaf. She stands above me, that stupid smug grin on her face. Her new Pokemon, a shiny Espeon, by her side. I walked over to the Espeon. She must feel it. If I cannot get my revenge, I'll take it by force. I leaped at the Espeon. It let out a small whine as it fell to the floor. Smiling, I bit and tugged on its ear. Harder. Harder. I will have what is mine. Soon, I will be what I was meant to be. Pain. It's all she'll feel. I tore the ear off. It cried out and struggled weakly. Leaf began hitting me, as she usually did when she was mad. A club hit my back. I ignored the throbbing and went on, tugging on the other ear. The Espeon cried out. Blood dripped into my mouth. Then my teeth fastened on its tail. It tore off easier than I expected, like a fragile butterfly wing. Smiling, I let her hit me with the club, bruising me, scarring me. I yanked on the jewel on Espeon's forehead. Leaf began shouting, but her voice sounded so far off. It snapped off its head, and I set the items on the floor. Leaf was crying. Her eyes were wide with fear and her fists were clenched. She beat me and sobbed harder. I felt no sympathy for her. I felt no pain from her blows. In fact, I felt like laughing at her. She always forced me into pointless fights with people I didn't know, like I was her slave. I reared up on my hind legs and grabbed my treasures from the Espeon. It was hard, but I finally got a good hold of them and plucked a sharp-looking pin that fell from Leaf's pocket when she ran away. Once I had all my treasures in place, I looked at myself in a puddle. I had green wide ears and a long green tail. The gem looked a tad out of place, but I didn't care. I had what was rightfully mine at last, and I liked it.